with us a national coordinator, SofaDonDo. SofaDonDo, Arinze Odiari, to discuss the solutions to this menace in our schools. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Now, we hear of this issue of sex for marks. In fact, we just finished talking about depression, and a lot of young people get depressed in fact the fact that they need to do certain things to get certain marks, and that adds to their depression. But I would like to know what you're doing concerning this issue of sex for marks, because a lot of young people feel helpless, that there's nobody that is fighting their cause, or nobody's speaking for them, nobody is ensuring that they are protected. What are you doing about this issue, and how can people find help? Young girls find help when they find themselves in this kind of situation?
Yeah, thank you very much. The truth is, a lot of people find it difficult to share their problems. Now, I heard the last conversation you had about depression. This actually leads to depression. Now, when you share your problem, you can immediately find solutions to it. What we do is to sensitize people about the scourge and give you avenues, channels to complain, and for us to take your complaints further to agencies like ICPC. We are not the police, we are not security agents, but we partner with these people to take your complaints. First of all, we would like you to complain to the school authorities, and from there, we move it on. If the institution tries to cover it up, which a lot of them do, because they are worried about the image, they want to protect the school, the university's image, or the secondary school's image, so they are careful not to let those kind of stories out. So what we do, we say, no, you have to listen to the student. You have to find out what's going on. If you have a lecturer or a teacher or a staff who is actually into the wrong things here, you need to call.
Okay. So do you have people on campuses, or do you have an office on campus that different campuses that people can walk in? Because the problem, with things like this, as I was saying before the show, before we came on, I was saying that it hasn't happened to me personally, but I have friends that it happened to, and all we did was talk about it because we knew there was no one else to tell. We knew that if you tell the school authorities, nobody was going to do anything. And there was never really any safe place to go immediately it happens to tell. So the thing is, you either try and find ways to, avoid the lecturer, or avoid the course, and hope that you fail it so that you can take it with a different lecturer, or, it just happens.
What we've done is, across the states, we have state coordinators. Some of them are actually lecturers. Okay. So now, it makes it easier for these students to go talk to these lecturers to say, lecturer A, B, C, or staff ABC is, on me. And so we also have the offices in Lagos, which is on Awolowo Road. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, so all the channels, you can always get in touch with us.
Let's talk about students who feel pressured to be, top students in school. Who would approach a lecturer with this offer? Because, yes, sex for marks, it's easy to talk about the lecturer side, but some students make it a habit in school to pass through school with this, use what you have to get what you want mentality. Let's talk about those students. Why the pressure? Why is there not a unit where they can be counseled and say, this is not where your strength is, this is where your strength is? Why are they not taking that?
How do you protect the lecturer from this kind of students?
You walk into...
The honest truth is that the lecturer has a higher stake here. The lecturer can report the student. The lecturer can come to class and tell the class that, look what your colleague has done.
And the lecturer can say no.
And the lecturer can say no, because if so much is given to you, there's this trust. There's this trust issue here. We have a lot, on the lecturers. It's like your pastors, your doctor. He's the higher authority, so he needs to take charge.
We were talking about this briefly before the show started, and I mentioned how we need to get more awareness concerning the challenge we had when we were in school was that we couldn't prove that this lecturer, it was like your word against mine, and everybody would gang up and support the lecturer and say, no, this man is a man of integrity, he cannot do something like that. But now we live in a generation where everybody has a smartphone, you can just put the phone in pocket and record the audio. How is your organization sensitizing people to be smarter about saying no? You know, getting evidence of when they are being harassed or abused.
How much of such evidence have you seen?
Of this evidence because it can be actually, they can actually put themselves in trouble. It can be doctors or even put themselves in trouble. You can get in trouble for that.
Yeah. So how do we?
What we try to do is get people to be aware of it in the first place. You know, we go for matriculation ceremonies, and then we say, these are the things you need to do in school. You can as well use a biro to record stuff. You can use your watch. You can use phones. You might not need to bring it out. However, you need to be careful what you're doing. For me, I think you have to follow the stages, so report first to someone, and then if someone is not listening to you, you can now go the extra mile of recording stuff. But then, if you go and record, somebody might come and claim, oh, it's doctored.
Okay. Let me take this call from Morenica. Morenica, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good.
Yeah, I want to comment on this for Mark, and I want to take on to parents. Because the cousin of mine mentioned to me that in secondary school now, that some of our friends in school, they speak to their teachers. They go to teachers to beg them to please let them pass. You know, when they are not doing well in some subject, they tell them that, no, they can't take these results home. They have to pass. They have to do that, you know. And I mentioned to her wife, I said, yes, that they do it. And sometimes they ask her, why don't you do the same? You want to disappoint your parents. So I think parents, we should try and not pressure our children. That it's all about this good grades and all that. So it starts from that level. In secondary school, when little children will go to teachers and beg them to change their marks so that they can take good grades home to parents. You know, so I can imagine these children going on to uni. What do you expect them to do? They know that, okay,
that's a great point. The role parents play.
For me, really, yes, I understand the role of the parents, but growing up, I also appreciate the fact that once we left our homes, we were in the hands of the teachers. Yes. Our teachers were completely in charge. When I was young, in fact, when I see my teacher on the street, I run. I'm careful. I want to be sure that I'm doing the right thing because the teacher has that authority over me. So I am thinking, even if the student goes to the teacher should be able to say, this should not be
Let me come to the audience. I know I have two comments. Go ahead, sir.
This issue of sex hormones, I think it's multidimensional in two ways. It might be from the lecturer or from the student.
Right.
Sometimes students were provocating ways to seduce their lecturer.
Okay.
Then the other way around, sometimes the lecturer might ask for sex so that the student will pass. But if students take their studies serious, I don't think there is need for that. If you are a serious student and you study hard and you do the right thing, there's no need for...
Students looking for shortcuts. Let me take one more comment. That's students looking for shortcuts, right? Go ahead, talk about it.
In my own case, I remember when we were in 200 level, there was this lady that the HOD picked on. So the HOD wanted to have an affair with her. So 200 level, it was a 4-semester course. So the lady failed the course. And when we got to 300 level, the lady failed the course again. And when we got to 400 level, the lady failed the course again. And, you know, we got to know that from the note, but that lady committed suicide, trust me. Wow. By the time we got to second semester 400 level, that was the final year. So the lady committed suicide. From the notes she wrote, she said that she has met the school counselor and everything, but because it was an HOD person, you know, we couldn't talk to HOD. We couldn't even talk about it because we don't want to have extra year. And that lady died, and we just silenced the issue like that. So
thank you very much.
Now, Mariah, at this table, I'm sure a lot of people know, I will never accept this thing where we always blame the victim. There's no provocative or provocative kind of dressing that should make you, who naturally are not a person that